Hey, welcome to Matt Talk, a video podcast for the friends and family of Coming First United Methodist Church from me, Pastor Matt. Well, today is Monday, July the 24th, 2023. Happy Monday to you. I wanted to share with you today on this Matt Talk about our new facilities uses policy. This policy has been adopted and approved by the Board of Trustees and by the Church Council of Coming First United Methodist Church. So as we face this time of financial rebuilding here at Coming First United Methodist Church, one of the things that we felt necessary to look at was how much our buildings are being used. Various groups and ministries use our buildings from time to time. Most every day you come on our campus, there's all kinds of activity going on. And when we began to look at the cost of that, we began to realize, well, gosh, it gets to be quite a figure. For example, just the gas and electric bills, they average somewhere between $6,000 and $10,000 per month, depending on if it's a heavy use month or not. That equals out to about $72,000 to $120,000 per year that we spend just on gas and utilities or electricity. That doesn't count the cost of maintenance or upkeep and insurance and cleaning and other expenses. And for years now, we've been able to underwrite the cost of such into the church budget and allow these various groups and ministries to use the buildings and facilities at no charge. There have been some exceptions to that, but mostly at no charge. And currently, we're just no longer able financially to absorb these costs into our budget. Therefore, we developed a policy outlining what we feel would be a fair amount to charge and ask for from these groups as they use our facilities in order just to recoup the expenses of what it's costing us for them to use the building. We identified 4 categories that these various groups and ministries would fall into. The first category was internal groups. These are activities and meetings organized by staff and or church leaders that's part of the regular programming of the mission and ministry of CFUMC, like our children's ministry, youth ministry, music ministry, those kinds of things. These groups are exempt from facility usage fees unless they generate income. If they generate income, then we are asking that they would negotiate with us some price that would help us recoup the costs of the usage of the building. Those groups that generate incomes are things like upward sports and the preschool and after school and those kinds of things. The second group was what we call partner ministries. These are activities that are not related to the formal mission and ministry of CFUMC, but they are ministries that we determine have significant or give significant support and complement our mission. Those ministries include things like Family Promise and Boy Scouts, and these are not generally charged a fee unless there's a significant cost of the church, at which time we would ask for them to negotiate with us on that. And then there's a third group that's called external ministries. These are ministries that are not partner ministries, they're not internal ministries, but they do share our religious, educational, and charitable goals and visions. This is like a worship service of another congregation, for example, or a school group that uses the sanctuary. Fees are assessed for these groups according to this policy. And then lastly, the fourth group is incidental or immaterial non-ministry. These do not fall into one of the above 3 categories, and they do not conflict with our mission and ministry, but they're held so infrequently that they're really kind of immaterial. These are the kind of once in a year things or so forth. And those activities are assessed to fee as well. So this policy does not cover funerals. It does not cover weddings. Weddings and funerals are worship services, and they have their own policies. However, this policy does cover receptions for funerals and weddings and other events. I share all this as a matter of information so that we all can be informed together. I also share this because it's come to my attention that there's been some misinformation concerning this policy and especially the Hispanic church that was meeting in the rooms on the first floor of the sanctuary building. So let me give you a little history. For years, Coming First United Methodist Church has graciously hosted this Hispanic congregation. It is not a part of the United Methodist Church. It's not a part of Coming First United Methodist Church. It is a congregation that was using our facilities, and we have underwritten the cost of housing that ministry at no charge to that ministry. As that ministry grew and needed more space and needed to meet more often, we accommodated them, and again, at no charge to them. Occasionally, Coming First United Methodist Church did receive a financial donation from that congregation, for which we were most grateful, but nothing was ever charged, and that wasn't on a regular basis. When the new policy was passed, the pastors from the Hispanic church were contacted and asked to come in and talk to our church administrator who administers the church usage policy. It was shared that the financial position of Coming First United Methodist Church was just not at the place where we could continue to house ministries without asking for some help financially to do so. So they talked with us about the number of rooms and the frequency of rooms that were going to be needed, and fees associated with that number of rooms and for that frequency was assessed according to the facility use policy. And the pastors expressed the fee sounded fair to them, and they were going to talk to their congregation and get back with us on what the congregation decided. After several weeks of no communication, keys were turned in to the church office, and that was the only communication that we received. I desire to assure everyone that no one has been asked to stop meeting here, and we would have been glad to negotiate with the Hispanic church as well as with any of the ministries or groups that use our church building. We hate that we cannot just keep underwriting the cost of these ministries with generosity. That just is not possible at this time in our financial position. So in the meantime, I've reached out to the pastors of this Hispanic congregation, and they assure me that there are no ill feelings, and I assured them that we have no ill feelings either. We and they have been partners for many years, and we hope that we continue to be partners in the various ministries like the food pantry and other things. Someone has said that when people don't know the story, we tend to create a story. And I desire for us not to create stories, but to know the story. So I invite you to please share this true story, correcting any misinformation you may have heard. These kinds of things are going to happen in a life of a community of faith. They happen anytime when we gather together as human beings. However, I do pray that we would all work to be sure not to engage in gossip, whether it's true or false. You don't have to share something just because you heard it. And if you are going to share something, please be sure to know that it's true. And please make sure it's positive. Always know that if you have any question, I'm glad to talk with you about it. You can call me or email me or come see me. We'll chat. I also hope that we can acknowledge that when finances aren't available, we just cannot continue to do everything that we've been doing and to do it as we've always been doing it. So let us all continue to strengthen the ministries of Coming First United Methodist Church by our faithful financial giving to God through our church. In that way, we can continue these ministries that we've been doing, and we can make them even stronger and better and increase them as we go along, and doing it all for God's glory. Well, until next time, and until our next Matt Talk, may the peace and joy of Christ be with you.